All right, now it's time to check in with CTV's political commentator, Scott Reid, for news on all levels of government. Scott, I'm sure you were focused on the Jays game last night, as we were all. How late did you stay to watch that game?
Well, man, that game was longer than Donald Trump's comb over. I fell asleep in like the 12th inning in my chair. I woke up, the TV had shut itself off, like the sleep function.
Right.
I thought about turning it on to check the game and check the result. Game would have still been on, actually. I think at that point I didn't know it. And I thought, no, I'm going to wait till the morning. Otherwise, I'll jinx it. Turns out my superstitious powers are less than I expected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those superstitions this time of year definitely come into play. And if you were traveling with the Prime Minister, I mean, they could have been watching it live at the time they were up as well. Of course, there's so many hours ahead in Asia right now, but he's going to meet with Chinese President Xi. This should help, or this might help us sort of understand a little bit more of the trade disputes. Canada now really looking to China, as America seems like an unfriendly trading partner at this point.
From the frying pan into the fire for Carney, because this is a really challenging situation. On the one hand, Donald Trump shutting down talks on trade with Canada, he's driving so much of the Western world into the arms of China. Because if he's going to deny us access to the U.S. market, well, we got to go where there are buyers, and China is the largest physical market in the world. On the other hand, the politics of dealing with China are so complicated. Obviously, with the two Michaels, the relationship's still very battered. There's the tariffs on canola. The Chinese will demand that we drop tariffs on EV vehicles. So what is the passageway through all of that would allow us to make some kind of progress, strike some kind of new boosted investment and trade relationship with China that we could tolerate? And you have to constantly keep in mind that anything we do with China is almost certain to raise, it's again the ire of Donald Trump. So that's a factor we have to balance. Although maybe he's made it easier for us, because since he has a temper tantrum over an ad that speaks the truth, we can no longer be worried or dictated by his whims and emotions.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we'll have to follow that closely. Scott, turning to the provincial level, which is, of course, tied to what's happening federally with that ad causing the trade elimination talks. But now Premier Doug Ford, he's looking to change those fixed election laws, especially when it comes to dates and also the amount of money that can be donated.
Yeah, circle the provisions around money, because there is definitely a desire to lock in the financial advantage that the Conservatives have when it comes to raising money, putting them in a strong position to run elections, to finance election and electoral efforts in between campaigns. But look, let's be honest. Why are we getting this now? So Doug Ford yesterday, I'm going to go back to the ad, as you just mentioned. Doug Ford yesterday puffs his chest out, says, listen, I have nothing to apologize for running these ads. It was the right thing to do. I'm not going to step back one step. But you do wonder, with them dropping this news, if they aren't feeling a bit bruised, because it signals to me that they want to create a distraction. They want to feed the news cycle, put something else in there. In terms of fixed election dates, I mean, come on. The reality is that the laws that are on the books haven't stopped Doug Ford or others from calling elections when they want. So I don't know that's going to have a material effect on our day-to-day lives or the province's future electoral timings.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Speaking of electoral timing, tick-tock here, Scott. We're just about a year away now from the municipal elections here, Toronto, and of course anywhere else you're watching municipally. We know Brad Bradford's in. We don't know about John Tory. Mm-hmm. Olivia Chow straining credulity, saying she's not thinking about it at this point. But here we are. Yeah, of course, right? But there are polls out already, because we're going to be seeing these horse race numbers really for the next year.
Yeah, with 1 year to go. Yesterday literally marks the 1 year mark between now and the next municipal election. I guarantee you that Olivia Chow is thinking about it. She's thinking about it in the morning, noon, and night all the time. And look, I would say this. I think we're going to see a three-way race. The question is whether it will really be a two-way race. Chow is in. I think John Tory will probably be in. And then Brad Bradford is trying to push his way into that conversation. We've seen some polls recently, and they sort of tell us different things about where we think the horse race might be if this candidate runs or that candidate runs. Here's the thing I want to underline to people. There are two consistent showings that are happening in these polls that matter a lot about the election outcome. One, people are not happy with the state of the city. Two, they're starting to blame Olivia Chow. For a long time, she lived in this blessed world where people were dissatisfied with services in the city, with traffic, congestion, the TTC, but they didn't necessarily ascribe that to Mayor Chow. Now they're starting to. With 1 year to go, she has to reverse that trend. If this becomes a change election, one of those other people is likely to win election. She needs to make certain that she takes control of this, or she could find herself on the unemployment line. So will this be a change election or not? That is a critical question to be decided between now and next year. And that's the question that may well dictate whether we get a new mayor or not.
And I wish I had time for a follow-up question now as to why you think John Tory could be back in, and if he is, whether that would really be a change election. But we're out of time for this week. Scott, we're going to get into that. We've got a year to talk about it. Scott Reid, our CTV political commentator. Always appreciate it, Scott. Thanks.
Thank you, Scott.
Great, guys. Go Jays.
Absolutely.
Go Jays, go.